The movie is about the period of direct British rule over the Indian subcontinent, and it begins with British tyrannical administrator Scott Buxton returning home from hunting in the forest while his wife, Catherine, gets her hand painted by a young and talented girl from the Gond tribe named Mally. Scott is surprised that someone like the little girl can possess such talent. Scott looks down on brown people and does not think much about their existence. She tells her husband that she wants to take the girl with her. He then asks his assistant to pay the mother of the child. Due to the language barrier, the mother, Loki, believes that the payment is for the artistry. What she does not know is that her daughter will now be taken away from her. The payment is for her daughter. A commotion takes place as Loki tries to stop the car from leaving. She hugs one of the wheels while begging to let her daughter go. A surgeon aims at her head, but is stopped by Scott as he does not want him to waste the bullet. Instead, the surgeon hits her with wood and kills her instantly. The rest of the tribe can only watch in disbelief. Mally also witnesses the brutality while inside the car. Meanwhile, at a prison facility, furious Indians are on the verge of breaking in as they demand the release of their leader, Lala Lajpat Ray. The jail guards are terrified as they are clearly outnumbered. The officer in charge requests backup, but he is told that it will take hours before the reinforcement arrives. Alluri Sitarama Raju is tasked to arrest one of the protesters. This looks impossible to perform given the thousands of angry protesters outside. Without a second thought, he immediately leaps toward the crowd and starts hitting everyone in an effort to get to the protester. Despite being overwhelmed multiple times, he manages to capture the suspect and return back inside. Venkat Avadhani, a special advisor to the Nizam, wants to see Governor Scott, but since he is not available, he informs his assistant, Edward, about the purpose of this visit. Scott and his team brought Mally with them, and the tribe, as well as the police department, want her to be returned back. Venkat also warns Edward that the tribe has a guardian who is willing to risk his life to save the little girl. Edward then gathers the soldiers and demands that they capture the tribal leader despite not knowing his identity. Catherine offers that whoever accomplishes the impossible will be promoted to the rank of special officer. Raju steps up to the challenge. In a forest just outside Delhi, Komaran Bhim volunteers as a lure to trap a wolf. As the chase ensues, a tiger spots him and pursues him as well. In the end, he captures the tiger with the help of his men. He and his team have been looking for Mally for 6 months now. They had not found luck so far. Back in the city, Bhim disguises himself as a Muslim mechanic. One day, he is beaten by a British soldier, but he refuses to fight back as he does not want his identity to be discovered, and he also wants to make sure that the family that gives him home will not be compromised. Bhim and his men observe how to get into the governor's mansion. He sends one of his companions, Django, to pretend as a worker. As soon as Django is spotted without his ID, he is beaten up. Jenny reprimands the soldier for treating the worker like an animal. Bhim now has an idea of how to get in, and that is to befriend Jenny. Raju shares with his uncle what his plan is. He wants the tribal leader to think that they are fighting the same cause. That way, the tribal leader will lower his guard. To start his quest, he and his uncle start to join pro-independence gatherings in the hopes of finding clues to locating Bhim. He even suggests killing Governor Scott. His strategy works as Bhim's brother, Lachu, falls for it. He then secretly approaches Raju, telling him that they have the same passion as they also want to kill the governor together with his brother. This almost leads him to be arrested. After failing to catch Lachu, Raju and his uncle are figuring out their next move. Right below them is where Bhim and his friends are hiding. Moments later, a young boy screams for help as fire is about to engulf him. Bhim and Raju work together to save the boy. Over time, the two grow close to each other. One day, Raju shares a sketch about a person that he's been looking for. As fate would have it, the sketch falls down before Bhim takes a look at it. That would have revealed that Raju was the one chasing Lachu. Raju then helps Bhim in courting Jenny, Scott's niece, unaware of his intention to infiltrate Scott's residence. At one point in their conversation, Jenny mentions the name of Mally. She says that the girl is staying with them. Bhim becomes speechless upon hearing this. He then proceeds to offer a gift to the young girl. Bhim is invited to a party at the request of Jenny. After a dance showdown, Bhim is then invited to Jenny's place. He then discovers that Mally is indeed inside and is held in captivity. She begs for him to take her home now, but that means both of them will be captured. He vows to set her free. Meanwhile, Beam tracks down and captures Lachu. While torturing him to reveal who his brother is, Lachu tosses a venomous snake toward Raju. The snake then bites him. Lachu warns him of his imminent fate and that the antidote is only known to the Gons. Barely alive, he approaches Beam, who immediately tends to him. Noticing similar religious features between Lachu and Beam, Raju discovers his true intentions. Regardless, Beam reveals his tribal identity and mission, unaware of Raju's covert identity. During a celebration held in Governor Scott's honor, Beam's men barge into his residence with a lorry filled with different kinds of animals to create chaos among the guests. The animals charge Scott's guards while Beam fights some of the guards. He then secures Jenny. Raju arrives in full military uniform. Beam is surprised as he has no idea that Raju is a police officer who works for the British. Raju then arrests Beam despite begging him not to, as his intention is only to rescue Mali. Desperate not to get captured, Beam refuses to get handcuffed, and the two engage in a fight until Beam is restrained. After the incident, Raju is promoted for arresting Beam, yet he feels guilty over his own actions, recalling his own pro-nationalistic background and his actual alter ego as a mole within the police. The governor expresses his appreciation toward Raju. He then orders him to punish Beam to prevent another attack against the British. Catherine also wants to see blood. The governor decides to punish the road tribal leader by means of public flogging. All the residents living in the area are then encouraged to attend the public flogging. As the flogging starts, Catherine is not thrilled when no blood is coming out from Beam's body despite the punishment. A flogger with spikes is then thrown toward Raju. Raju attempts to persuade him to recant his actions. He wants Beam to confess to his crimes, but he chooses to be flogged instead. Despite being in severe pain due to injuries, Beam sings in resistance, which incites an assembled crowd into rebelling. The riot subsequently enlightens Raju, who finally understands the recklessness of his actions. Raju shares his plan with his uncle to save Beam and also free Mali. He also expresses how Beam was able to inspire thousands of people just by singing. The governor wants Beam to be executed. Raju suggests hanging him in front of Mali. After all, she's the reason why he is here. Raju also adds that he should not be hanged in public as he'd just be heralded as a hero. Instead, Raju wants to have him executed somewhere else and away from the public. That way, they can also easily dispose of his body secretly. As the team moves toward the execution site, Raju begins to work on his plan to save Mali. In the process, he is severely injured while Mali manages to run towards the forest. As police officers approach Raju, he shoots them. Upon hearing the gunshots, Beam frees himself and fights off the officers guarding him. He then mistakenly interprets Raju's actions as an attempt to kill Mali. To save Mali from Raju, Beam bludgeons him to the face before escaping with her. The authorities are now desperate to capture Beam again. The government offers cash incentives for his arrest, and his posters are placed everywhere in pursuit of leads. Meanwhile, Raju remains defiant and continues to strengthen his body despite being days away from being executed. Beam and Mali are cornered by the colonial authorities. They are seconds away from being captured. As one of the police officers approaches the room where they are hiding, Saida, Raju's fiancée, pretends that the people inside are suffering from smallpox. This drives the police officer away. When he informs his superior, all of them are then ordered to abandon the house. Not knowing Beam's identity, she reveals Raju's actual anti-colonial objectives and his impending execution. Downhearted upon realizing that it was his fault after thinking that Raju was attacking Mali, Beam vows to save him. He makes a promise to Saida that he'll do whatever it takes to save Raju's life. Beam wastes no time and begins to move. With the help of Jenny, Beam infiltrates the barracks where Raju is detained and frees him, alerting multiple soldiers in the process. Due to Raju's leg injuries, Beam must carry him on his shoulders. They then fight against the soldiers who are trying to stop them from fleeing. The two manage to retreat to a nearby forest. The governor is informed of the situation. He then orders the special forces to eliminate the two. At the nearby forest, Raju and Beam decimate more soldiers with the use of a longbow taken from a ram shrine. Raju also uses an arrow to launch grenades and kill more soldiers. At one point, Beam carries a motorcycle and tosses it toward the soldiers. He then confronts and kills Andrew, the governor's assistant. As the soldiers are annihilated, the two rush towards the barracks where Governor Scott is waiting for them. They are welcomed with cannons, but Raju and Beam are relentless. Raju signals to Beam to use his motorcycle and hurls it towards the barracks. As it's airborne, Raju hits it with an arrow that ignites the motorcycle. When it lands at the barracks where the ammunition is stored, several soldiers are killed and others are wounded. Catherine also died from this explosion. The movie ends with Governor Scott is badly wounded and is now confronted by Raju and Beam. Raju hits him with an arrow while Bean finishes the job by using a British weapon. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.